Let's get to work. Come on.
Welcome to the Master of Trades podcast with your host, Perry Ellison.
Welcome to the Master of Trades podcast. I'm here with my good friend and business partner, Quest Gatlin. Today, Quest,
Woo!
what are we talking about, man?
We're talking about everything. We're talking about business. We're talking about life. We've been talking about mentality. I'm excited. You got a lot to share, and I really want to encourage everybody jumping on. If this is the first time you've jumped on the podcast, the second time you've jumped on the podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're joining us. Super excited to have you. Please make sure to subscribe. Share this with friends of yours, especially those friends of yours who may be in the entrepreneurial game, they're in the startup world, or maybe they've been around for years and years. There's a lot of good information coming at you each episode, and so I want to make sure that you guys are in the loop in everything that we're producing. So, Perry, let's
Look, I mean, on that, like, share it with everybody. Share it with everybody. This is a podcast for employees.
Yeah.
Employers,
So true.
and all the skill sets that are required to be either of those. So take that right into life. You take it into your relationships, your marriages, your kids. Like, this stuff's going to benefit you. It's not about a thing. It's about the mindset behind the thing.
Yeah.
Is what we often see. So, anyways, Quest, welcome to the show. Let's get into it.
Do it.
What do we got? Virtual assistant still, right?
Yes.
This is the key to business right now.
It's hot right now.
Yeah.
It's hot, literally. This room is a little toasty. It's a little warm. I chose to wear a sweater. We're doing this podcast, guys, in September, but we're in Dallas, Texas, man.
Sweater weather.
It's sweater weather. But listen, virtual assistants is what we've been talking about. This is new for a lot of people. And if you guys missed the last episode, Perry, you unpacked for a couple of minutes about kind of what that turning point was for you with your company, Premier Fitness, service-based industry, and making that change into, and I'm not going to recap all of it. They need to go back and listen. However, dude, it was gold. Kind of making the shift from the way you were operating to the way you're operating now, which is like a complete 180. I mean, it's incredible to see what God's doing with you in the companies, and we'll talk more about it. But specifically, virtual assistants. Let's go deeper. We talked about, as an owner and operator, having the right mentality. That was huge. If you're taking notes, you got to take notes, man.
Yeah.
Mentality was huge. What's taking place between the ears is so much more important than just systems and processes and solutions, which are important, which we're going to talk about. But a lot of times people are so limited and hit the cap. We even quoted John Maxwell in the last episode, but there's just this lid that you hit when your mentality, dude, when your head's not in the right space, you can integrate and implement all of the
Could have free labor.
Doesn't even matter if your head's not in the right space. So you've been on your own journey of discovering that in yourself, implementing new ways of thinking and approaching things in your own teams. I now get to be a part of your team. It's been an incredible ride. I'm learning a lot, and it's just been incredible. So excited to talk about virtual assistants. Let's go a little bit deeper today. VAs, where do we begin? I'm interested. I could definitely use the help. Let's just talk a little bit more about it. Where do I begin?
That's so good. Look, VAs is essentially the small business owner's opportunity to tap into the global workforce that massive corporations have been doing for 3 decades now, right? That offshore manufacturing piece. No small business can tap into that. The benefit of having offshore cheap, quote unquote, cheap labor, go ahead and participate in their business. Now is that time. Because of the technology that's in place, because of the collaboration that's available to us, we're allowed to now and capable of integrating global operators into our business. The first and most low-hanging value fruit of the global workforce is the cost savings, of course, but it expands. Once you actually experience what it's like to work with a virtual accelerator, you start to open up your eyes to tremendous benefits. And one of those, let me just pull out a piece. One of those benefits is to take a global individual, somebody in maybe a third world country that hasn't had the wealth and the abundance that we've been surrounded with here in America, to be able to pluck them, right, add them to our team, adopt them as part of our family, and introduce them into our existing family of domestic American team members.
Wow.
And that contrast right there is so powerful for our American staff to see, wow, here's another real person across the other end of the globe that can support this business I'm also a part of. And they have a smile on their face. They have a positive attitude. They're here on time. They're eager to help. And they actually provide solutions beyond the problems that they identify. Like, it's a total paradigm shift when we introduce them to our existing team, and watch how that culture shifts with your domestic team. Now having the perspective of like, wow, that's what hunger looks like.
Yeah.
Being hungry, not necessarily physically, but just like mentality. I'm hungry for more and I want more. And that right there supersedes the cost savings so drastically. Yeah. It's incredible. But look,
wow,
where do we start with all this? Well, look, I like to keep it simple. I would say you don't want to go over your skis with anything new. They're just unnecessary. The most important action to take is inaction, is a simple step forward, is a 1% move toward the right direction. The problem that we have within businesses and business owners is not that they take the wrong action or too much action. They don't take any action. That's the real problem. So I always encourage, hey, start small. Start with an EA, an executive assistant to support you directly. Business owner, manager, top level person. What are you doing every single day that you have no business doing? That addresses what we discussed in episode 1, that mentality that we have, the limiting beliefs, the scarcity mindsets. We got to break through that. This is a good opportunity to come face to face with that and address that before we introduce it to the rest of our team and our company. Because your team members, you're going to have to coach them through the mentality of be okay with delegating your responsibilities. But in order for them to be okay with it, you first have to do it, and you have to show them what's on the other side of that. Most business owners are not comfortable giving away what they do every day, because then they're concerned with, well, what do I do instead?
Yeah.
I don't want to show confusion to my team, because quite honestly, if I gave away everything that they know me for, I don't know what to do next. And so, look, the EA is a perfect place to start. So the number one question I get is, okay, how do I make sense of what I do every day? How do I figure out what I delegate? How do I delegate it? And I'm excited to get into that. So first things first, you take a Word document, you kind of be more basic and list out everything that you do every single day. List out everything that you do. And then next to each of those items, determine whether or not you absolutely have to do those items, or if it's something that somebody else could do. Okay, then you take those items that someone else could do and list out the exact process behind that, step by step, 1 through 10, 1 through 20, however many steps it takes. Make that super clear, and that's your SOP. And those are the items that are easy to delegate.
Yeah.
Those other items that you absolutely have to do, I want to question that, because I find most of the time, 90% of the time of what we say we have to do, we have no business doing those items either. So questioning and challenging what we do, creating that space and capacity, freedom, that ability to breathe and see and to think and say, wow, this person has really impacted my day-to-day. They've impacted my life for the better. They've made us more efficient and are now doing the things I used to do better.
Yeah.
To be able to have that space opens up the rest of the organization for that same kind of integration.
Yeah. Okay. So backing up just a little bit. Okay. So I need to take things off my plate, and just the practical side of, okay, I'm gonna make this document, right? Okay, so on this document, I want to offload everything I have no business doing. It's got to be done, but maybe I don't need to be doing it. In other words, maybe 80% of my day is filled with things that ultimately need to be done, reporting, metrics, et cetera, whatever that is for you, depending on the size of the organization that you're in. And I'll add to this, maybe there are things you're just weak at, but still need to be done. And so I've heard it, hire for your weakness as well. You know, so I want to create this document, and this is something we consult with people all the time. Okay, look, you're going to make this document, you're going to list everything out, and then you need to show how you're doing those things. Am I hearing you right?
Yep.
Okay, that's right. So these are what I need done. Here's how to do it. And just a little freebie, if you're kind of new to this whole thing, we use Loom. So you can get in, make a Loom video of showing them how to do it on the desktop. Then you go, you make your link, a lot of people don't know how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, right? We're going to hyperlink the link to that Loom video into each thing to show them how to do it, title this sucker, and save it, how to do the job -SOP, and you save it on your desktop, right? Just simple things, but it's like, whoa, hold on. I make a document, and I just offload. Okay, so once you've identified that person in the hiring process, you're now prepared to say, check out this document. Let me know when you're done. Let me know if you have any questions. You've alleviated a lot of meeting time, a lot of unnecessaries. Here's another reason why this is so important. Didn't I tell you that already? Didn't I show you how to do that 3 times already? So what it does is this allows them, it's not only good for you to offload this stuff from your brain, but it allows your new hire to go and soak up that information 87 times that day if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And you're doing your own thing. So this is super beneficial, super practical, I know, but a lot of people just on some of the smallest practical things. So you've made this document. Now you can focus on onboarding, ensuring they're following the process. This is so simple, but I think can be so easily overlooked by a lot of people. Okay.
Right.
I've made my document. I've onboarded. I found a rock star I want on my team. We've negotiated a price. Found somebody in the Philippines, $5, $6, $7 an hour, up to $10, or whatever it looks like for you. Now what? I've identified a team member. I've got SOPs in place.
Right.
I want to ensure that they're still successful beyond the systems, processes, the SOPs. I want to manage them well.
That's right.
Where do I go from here?
Look, I mean, that entire process to get up to that point where you're ready to actually turn over the responsibility to somebody else.
Yeah.
That right there, I can't tell you how loaded that is with paradigm shifts for business owners. Okay, like you have no business training physical domestic workforce people. You have no business sitting with a random stranger that had a good interview with you, that you think could do the job, and you or your upper level management or just somebody who knows the process in your business actually sitting with a stranger for an entire day or several hours. What a waste of time. So just one paradigm shift is I have no business sitting with a person to teach them how to do anything in this business. It's their first day. Hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. We can't possibly know this person for another couple weeks, 4 weeks maybe. Are they reliable? Can they do the job well? Are they the right player in the right position? All of that time will tell. So to invest your time, your top level team members' time makes no sense. So that's the first thing. This has nothing to do with virtual assistants, international workforce. It's your ability to automate the things that are a time suck to you.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Okay, the second thing is when you're delegating your responsibilities, it's expanding your think of, are these the most valuable things I should be doing? Is this growing the business? Is it sustaining the business? Or is it actually slowly killing the business by me continuing to do these things? We were talking to a business owner just the other day. We said, hey, are you in the day-to-day operations of your business? He said, oh, no. I'm in much more important things. Like, for example, here's an invoice from a recycling company. They're trying to charge us $500. I know it's supposed to be $100, so I'm calling them today. It's like not exactly the top level, man, big growth things that we're referring to. Exactly the type of things that could be delegated. So, identifying these things to delegate, getting that skill set of just, hey, if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. If someone else can do it, they must do it. That mentality. The third paradigm shift within just this minor process of getting to that point is being okay with the reduced outcome. Well, nobody can do it like me. Nobody else could do this process. It needs to be 110% because this is the smile clean way.
Like, oh my God.
Come on, business.
Yes.
Like if you're handicapping yourself and your business into a box of you doing this thing because that's the only way this business can be done. Be expecting to be purchased by your competition at some point. Like you're just not going to exist. We've got to take this mentality of 110%, 100% completion of the outcome and be willing to reduce that down to MVP, minimum viable product.
Wow.
Okay. That's not cutting corners. It's a matter of what is absolutely necessary for this project. And most of the time we don't need 100% outcomes. especially if somebody else is going to do it, we need to be okay with 75% in some cases. Depends on the operation, of course, but we need to be okay with reduced outcomes. And that spread, that margin there between 175, that 25% opportunity that this person has, that is the definition of your team's growth. If you're constantly doing these things, how is your team supposed to level up and how are they supposed to grow? If you're not handing anything off, how are they supposed to hand off what they do to catch what you're...
That's hard for a lot of people. I've been in some organizations where the leadership, it's like, if it's not, I have to do it in order to ensure this result.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. One particular organization that I happen to work with, the ownership of it, she was, I mean, no one could do this thing, and I won't get too far into it, but there was this, she had no business doing it anymore. I mean, it was just outlandish that she was the one, I cannot believe she was the one still doing this with all of the layers underneath her. But it was like, no one can do it. Now, I'm not talking about, I won't get too far into it, but it was just one of those things where it was just so ridiculous, and everyone knew it was ridiculous about her. And that's the thing. It's like being able to identify, you talk about reduced outcomes. It's like, at what does that mean for you? What does that mean for the listener right now, where it's like, so what do I settle with in order to say, hey, I know that I wasn't doing it. And I'll give this example, right? I've got 4 sons. I'm teaching them how to mow the daggum lawn. And if I send Justice, who's 10 years old, out to go mow the lawn, it's not going to look the way it does if I do it. But eventually it will.
Right.
Like, I have to be okay with it looking 75% of the way I would do it right now, knowing that he's a work in progress, and eventually he might make it to the 80-90% and hopefully even better than I could have ever done it.
That's right.
And I think that's what we want, right? As we're empowering teams. Like, initially, I definitely want MVP. Like, I definitely, like, if it's done and I can settle for the 75% mark, knowing that I think I can eventually lead you into a higher percentage of the outcome.
Yeah.
Is this making sense? Like,
no, and I love the analogy of your 4 boys, because look, you do have an option to go ahead and maintain the trimming of the hedges, like the mowing of the
I can
lawn.
fight to keep doing it myself.
You could do it all. It could be 100%.
Right.
Guess what? You're going to develop 4 lazy boys.
That's right.
And that's your legacy. And to me, I've said this before, that my team members, I lead them and I guide them as I would my children. I've got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I love them and I invest into them, and I give them wisdom, I give them correction, and I give them direction on development the same way I would with my team members. And so I'm not going to have 4 lazy boys sitting here watching dad do 100% of the yard work.
Yeah.
If I truly love my team, let alone the growth and the scaling of our family, the organization, beyond that, I care for them, and I can't set them up for failure like that. The Bible says that if you hate your son, don't discipline him. If you hate your children, don't invest and hold them accountable to outcomes. And so, look, same thing with our team. We want to go ahead and give them an opportunity to expand their skill sets. They got to get out there and do it. Now, do we want to put them in a position where they could hurt themselves with the lawnmower? No. See, that's where we set up those guardrails to make sure that no one's going to be injured. This is not going to blow up the business if the outcome isn't what we want.
Yeah.
Look, if we're talking ultimately, what are we fearing? We're afraid of client experience. Let's just get down to brass tacks.
Yes.
We're concerned with the client having a negative outcome that would disrupt our reputation and damage our business. Is that a valid fear? In most cases, no. If you've been delivering 100% results to your clients for so long and they have one negative experience and that's going to disrupt your business, you never had a business in the first place.
Yeah.
Those clients are so fickle that they would leave you because they got a 75% outcome without contacting you and saying, hey, we've got a problem here. And that, hey, we've got a problem here is an opportunity for you to correct and develop your team to show them what's really important. But what we find is most of the time, the 75 is actually good enough for the clients. They might identify, man, things used to be a little different, but they're actually okay with that reduced outcome, whatever that is. And it's case-by-case basis for sure. But the overall idea is this. If we don't have to touch specifically that one customer, and with that time we saved, We are both developing a team member who we care about, and we want them to genuinely grow in value. But with that time we saved, we're able now to go and acquire 10 clients. That's what this is about.
That's huge.
So if we replace that one client who just lost their mind because they didn't get exactly what they always get, and we replace them with 10 clients who are probably better clients anyways, pay on time, don't give us as much of a hard time.
Yeah.
We've got to see some attrition of clients and really be invested into our team.
Yeah.
So this is a really good point to do a soul search, kind of a heart check, if you will, with the business owner. Who are you more invested in this game for? Your clients or your team members? The ones that are cutting you a check once a month or whatever it is, or the people that are with you every single day in this fight? To me, it's our team. I'm more invested in their outcomes than I am our clients. Because if I'm invested in their outcomes and I believe that they're genuinely with me, right players, right positions, right culture, right alignment, they're going to take care of the clients. So if they screw something up, they're going to make it known to the client that my heart is here to fix this. I am all in. I'm invested into fixing this problem. You can't buy that level of engagement in another organization where they're just trying to task the way you've taught them to.
Yeah.
But when you have a culture where it's like, man, Perry invests into me and he's trusted me with this specific thing. I fell short. I'm going to make sure I make this right with the client. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And the client sees that. That's a special thing for clients to see. So look, there's a lot of excuses and justifications ultimately that business owners use to get away from delegating and taking this leap.
Yeah.
Really, they don't want to get out of the comfort of their scarcity mindset. If we're being honest, we have to distill it down to what it is. Every concern has a way to be handled. So I would say instead of getting wrapped up in these potential outcomes or issues, let's just handle the fact that, look, I've been thinking too small for too long.
Yeah.
And I've got to get back in expansion mode, betting on our team, investing into our people, and setting up this organization correctly for the future. That is what needs to be done.
Every concern is easily handled. And I feel like if you can rid yourself of the concerns, it opens up the floodgates of so many opportunities. And again, everyone that you're listening today, you have either experienced it or it is flowing through your own organization, and you're too dumb to see it. Just being straight, you're too blind to see it. And because typically when you're too blind to see it, you're the problem. It's like everyone else sees it but you. And it's just one of those things. And I feel like on a more encouraging note and a little less hand slappy, the reality is people really want to work in great places. And there's so many directions. I don't mean to take this in too many different directions. However,
people don't want to work with jagweeds.
They don't.
They don't want to work for jagweeds. They don't want to be a jagweed. If you're a jagweed,
dude,
you're never going to attract great people.
Come on.
That are going to fulfill you, inspire you, create any sort of freedom for you.
Yep.
You'll never be able to trust those people. And it's a bad outcome for everybody.
It's a bad outcome for everybody. So again, kind of to circle back, like going back to why we went into business in the first, and I understand not everyone listening is an owner. You might be a regional property manager. You might, wherever you find yourself. I really believe that this information will help you in ownership, in managing not only your teams, but we kind of going back to like, okay, why a VA, how to onboard a VA, what's the process of getting everything I don't need to be doing onto paper. Come on, you're recording those looms, you're making those SOPs, you're identifying your rock star, you're onboarding them on the team, but you're going to continue to struggle if you're not identifying some of those continued toxic ways of thinking and behavior. So you can't bring on your VA and go, gosh, but they're not doing it 100%. We talked about MVP. Like, you got to be taking notes when you're listening to some of these things too. Minimum viable product. Gosh, they can't perform the way I thought. This whole virtual accelerator thing is a sham.
That's right.
Blah, blah, blah. You're eliminating those excuses and being able to move forward effectively. That's huge.
Well, look, if you're a business owner and you don't operate with the window mirror mentality, and I'll explain that.
Yeah.
When times are good and you're having successes, you're looking through the window at all the people that made it happen, your team.
Yeah.
When things aren't going well, it doesn't matter what it is. you're looking in the mirror. You're never looking out the window. If something's not going well, someone's not performing, you hired them, you allowed them to work here, you set them up with the processes, you pay them I'm tired of hearing business owners be weak victims in their business because they refuse to take full responsibility. And they want to justify their own inaction, their own scarcity mindset, and they're weak and pathetic. And you're destined to be taken over by your competition. You're destined to be replaced by AI. You and your team are destined for misery because you refuse to take responsibility. So let's go. You mentioned something interesting. This is for everybody. Listen, business owners, if we haven't hit you over the head with the pan yet and you get it, I'm transitioning over to my employees right now. I've heard of employees actually bringing on VAs. The person actually goes and interviews for a position and then immediately outsources it to a VA. So a single employee has 5 separate jobs that they're supposed to be doing remote, and they're really just having VAs do it. Guys, the opportunity is here. This is your opportunity. Employees, guys, there's a couple different ways to take advantage of this on the employee level. And I'm actually more passionate about the employee level than I am about the business owners. Because again, like if you're not picking up what we're putting down on this show, business owner, you're asleep, you're about to be consumed. Who's consuming you? I'm looking at the employees. These are the ones tomorrow that are going to pick up on your laziness, your inaction. We're going to call it out. They're going to see the signs of you not pushing any longer. Your clients already know it. So when they smell blood in the water, they're going after your clients. Employees, there's a few different ways for you to take advantage of this. A, do what I had just mentioned. I'm not sure if ethically or morally or however you structure that, if that aligns with you, but I would say it's an opportunity, right? Outsource positions to another operator, and you're essentially a broker of employment, which is kind of fun. 2, listen, if you're making $25 an hour in your position, whatever it is that you're doing, how about you take $5 every hour, hire somebody else, you're still making $20 an hour, maybe with the fifth of what you make every hour, you just replace 75% of what you do. You just bought back 75% of your time. I can't justify giving away $5 every hour, but what do you gain? See, this is business owner. You need to be helping your team understand that it's about value exchange, not about how much you make an hour. That defines you. That's also your bad. Going back to the employee, give away $5 an hour, give away a fifth of what you earn to gain back 75, 100% of your time. Take that $20 an hour and expand and do something more valuable.
Yeah.
Do something more valuable.
Yeah.
Expand it and create more. Okay. Get another $20 an hour. Get another position. Like this is where we really want to teach employees how to think like employers. Because actually the term employee doesn't even exist. There's only clients, there's only suppliers. You're one or the other. Your boss is a client. You are a supplier as an employee. It's great for, okay? So where can you go and supply more if you're giving up a little bit of your income? Okay. The third opportunity is to introduce this into your business. Okay. Your boss doesn't really understand it. He's not willing to risk it. You're taking this concept and you're introducing this into your workplace. Make it your own idea. Okay. This is not patented. Take this as your thing. You go into your business. You're explaining it to your boss. Our opportunity to scale here, outsource and delegate a lot of the medial tasks. Take our players, have them pursue. This is for you, employees, employers, for family, wives, stay-at-home moms. Okay, you've already got your hands full. Single moms, like you have your hands full. How about you hire a VA to help you create itineraries, schedule appointments, okay, send out text messages and handle your communication. This is for everyone. The opportunity is so massive right now. It's disproportionate in value. This is the year 2000 when Google ads are a penny per click. This is the Gary Vee days that he refers to that blew up his business. This is exactly that for the global workforce.
It's huge. On that note, we got to end this podcast, but I can't.
I hate to say it.
That's too good.
Man,
that's way too good.
I guess I got to tune into the next episode.
You're going to have to tune into the next
Let's
episode, baby.
Go.
Look, we covered a lot of great material today. We've eliminated excuses. We've given you some tips and tricks on how to onboard your first VA, how to manage that after the fact. Man, we've talked mentality. We've talked all kinds of things. Guys, share this with a friend. I'm telling you, owner, operator, entrepreneur, wherever you find yourself, just an employee that's trying to make your way up the ladder, whatever it looks like for you, give it a share, like and subscribe. Super, super, super good information today. I'm looking forward to the next podcast. Thanks, Perry.
Awesome. Thank you for joining Quest. Man, it's been a great episode. Can't wait to do it again.
Let's do it.
All right.